Well, I mean, there's a reason we kept opening with like Vladimir Isaiah Oriana, set for game 3, where Faye was finally put on a real meta champion. we had to do it to her eventually. She had her fun. I expect multiple Kog'Maw bans during EC, to be honest. The Vladimir ban is pretty much expected. I don't think Karma is very good in this meta, to be honest. I think there are a lot of heavy engaged champions in bot lane that deal well with it. Hold on, those are our bans. Let's see if Oriana comes in as well. I'm curious. And also, I feel like Skarner for us is a much bigger threat than Skarner is for Lionscreed, so I don't think it's worth investing a ban into here. I'm intrigued to see if the Skarner is allowed to go through, because I know that Lexa is a pretty decent Skarner. I don't know that Yasna plays it, and I don't think Fairy Ren plays it. But it would be... Oh my god, new AD carry pick. Massive.
Yep. Ooh.
Ooh.
Are the actions...
So Ezreal does drop through here, and I feel like you have to approach the game as though Ezreal will be the pick. That Jarvan's not getting locked in. I feel like you approach the game as though Ezreal is the pick, and they can probably just opt into Nautilus on B1 still. Marco also fine. It's especially if this is like a flex for them. Don't know if it is, but Lexa I considered like Maokai is 100% in her core pool. It's a champion she's very comfortable on, so I don't mind it at all. And of course, you know, we talk about like Hao as a player and Lexa as a player, and there's a lot of overlap in their champion pools, which is the big difference between draft in this game and our game, I feel, is there's a lot more contested picks. Whereas in our game, we like Spooky on, you know, like a Jarvan, Vi, etc. Vi, you know, permabanned anyway, but that's by the by. I feel like Hao and Lexa's pools, there's a lot more overlap. Jinx, I mean, I don't mind it. I think it is a little brave into Maokai, but we just have to see what they follow it up with. Zinzao, I do like, you know, just picking up space buying tools for the Jinx. I feel like that's what the comp is going to end up being for the most part, just off this opener. You just want to pick tools that buy space for Jinx. I can 100% see Ornn being picked up on 3 here. Else, they are running the risk of just Ornn, Tahm Kench double bans going into second rotation from NORD. I love Lucian here so much. Pick the Nami or the Melio. Both are fantastic. And they want to really play into bot.
We've seen this before with Lionscreed as well, where right before the second ban rotation, even though conventionally it would make more sense to pick support, they pick Ornn instead. So this is something that they do.
I expect Ornn here. Conventionally speaking, yeah, support here is fine because you've already shown the Nami. Mid lane here also fine, just because getting something priority is nice. So if we were looking down the lines of meta pool, Oriana's pretty good here. Nico is not bad. Again, really good tools just for buying space for that Jinx to operate in a team fight. Lucian Nami super short range, so this lock would not surprise me. I do expect Ornn Tahm Kench double bans now.
Yep.
We start to push Gertrude onto something she's less comfortable on. Unless they have concerns about a specific support into Lucian Nami. The only support that comes to mind is like your Annie's. Annie, a big LTK counter.
Actually,
I don't know that they play it.
The Nico might be the support. The Nico is
also
likely to
true.
go support, not mid lane.
I mean, so I think top lane gets picked next anyway, and they treat Nico as a flex. I don't love Nico into Lucian Nami. Post 6, sure, happy days. But pre 6, Annie just has a lot better control over space into Lucian Nami. Annie as a support in general is a big LCK answer into the Lucian Nami bot lane because they're forced to play inside her range. Aatrox, I mean, Rioson's not a bad Aatrox. She's pretty good Aatrox, but I'm surprised that a ban is thrown in that direction.
Yeah, I don't really understand the Aatrox one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Tahm Kench counter. It's a big Tahm Kench counter. So this is a huge red flag for you must ban Tahm Kench here. That's okay. Brave.
That's a Tahm Kench.
That's very brave.
It
should just be TK here, I think. Other options into it, yeah, and that gets locked in.
No surprise.
Like I say,
No surprise.
Aatrox, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, TK counter. So as soon as you see the Aatrox ban come out, forces your hand on a Tahm Kench ban, but doesn't happen. Gwen into TK is a really, really good matchup later on. Early game, it's still Gwen favored, but she just can't bully him quite as hard. So if NORD lock this and then play heavily into side lanes, I like it a lot. Especially because right now, there are just not the tools available to really fast D-push side waves on the side of Lionscreed. So at this point, I'd like Nico going into bot lane more and giving yourself something that can sort of answer this Gwen in the side lane as the game goes on, because right now there are no other tools that are answering the Gwen in the side lane as the game goes on. Ah,
Okay, this is.
that is interesting. Lobby bug? Question mark. Fairy Ren no champ. I don't
Oh,
have
that's.
Yone.
No, the rules don't allow for that. The rules don't allow for that. The rules
Yeah,
say that.
so it did happen in our game, but we just let it go.
Yeah, we let it go. We just
We let
wanted
it
to play.
go. So for the sake of sportsmanship, I would like Lionscreed to let it go.
Which game did it happen with you?
Oh, I can't remember now. That doesn't matter. It was a non-issue, but
Yeah, it was just someone not having smolder or something.
yeah, it was. Yeah, I think it was Fairy Ren on R5, but it was like it's just it was a non-issue. We didn't really mind, especially with it being on R5. But yeah, it's admins have asked people to pick people out of order.
And right now in the Equal Esports Cup referee chat.
You guys can be nice. Honestly, just give it to them. Just let
I-
it happen. Just play.
Yeah, I'd say just give it. It's like.
Just give it. Yeah, if they've done it multiple times and every other time it's been allowed, I think, yeah, just allow it.
Look, here's the thing. I would say just give it personally, but
Yeah,
also
I would say
rules are
just give
rules.
it.
So if someone like is trying to enforce the rules,
I oh I don't like what's happening in chat now.
yeah, it seems like tempers are flaring.
Yeah, tempers are flaring. This game one is gonna be fiery. It's all kicking off.
Oof.
Just go. Yeah, okay. Right, we get to see this same draft a second time. So,
There are.
what are we thinking is going to be our 5?
Before we get
I mean,
into that, we have 2.5 minutes left for predictions. So anyone here in the chat who wants to participate in predictions for game one can still vote with their channel points.
I'm not even like Firefox logged me out of everything a couple days ago, and to be honest, I just haven't found the motivation to open the authenticator app on my phone to log back in. I've been busy. I got other things on. That would take an entire like 45 seconds out of my day.
Let's see some of
We are
some
just
of
picking
the
in
Twitch
order now.
comments
Whatever.
regarding the event. We see Sakuya from Aquila saying they did multiple times the tournament. A username Con230 says, but how are you supposed to draft properly if you're not on tournament realm and you don't have all champs? Well, I guess you just like, you adapt, you bite the bullet and you are limited.
Yeah, it was a lot of like admins made it so that you can pick out of order. Like players don't have to be in order in lobby, which is something we played up against quite a few times in the like opening few games. A lot of like top laners in 5th position in champ selects just for that reason. I can see why it is the case, and I understand that the official position was they don't want it to affect timing too much, which is it's fair. I do think an allowance could have been made to let people use draft lol if both sides agreed to it, because it clearly in this situation the draft has gone through anyway. It's been allowed in the end, so I reckon in this position, if NORD had asked, "Can we use draft lol?" Lionscreed would have said yes, and it all would have been fine.
But the rules specifically say to not use external applicants.
Yeah, they specifically say that's not okay. And on the one hand, it's like, I guess, okay, they're swapping it. Fair enough, that's fine. Like I say, yeah, they said it would take too much time. From my personal perspective, like I've done TO stuff in the past, so from that perspective, I completely get it. I understand wanting to keep a tournament as streamlined as possible. I think, especially in like a high stakes best of 3 like this, there can be allocations made where if both teams are okay with it, allowing the pro draft would be fine. But as it stands, yeah, rule set doesn't allow it. So I think it's just been a sportsmanship thing for the most part, where teams have just been like, yeah, whatever, it's fine, just remake draft.
3 minutes. Just wait.
Yeah. So, like I was saying before, I don't like Nico's support as much as I like Annie's support, but post 6 is still definitely fine. They have immense amounts of space that they can buy for this Jinx here. So this game, I think for the most part, is going to come down to how much of a lead can Lucian and Nami accrue for themselves in lane, especially levels 1 to 5 when Nico doesn't have that kind of zone control of her ultimate. And then as you go later on, it becomes more how effectively can Gwen and Yone dive onto this Jinx? Because it's not a one-threat comp. Talia is still going to do pretty reasonable damage, but to me, the reason why you're picking Talia here, alongside it being a decent matchup into Yone, certainly not bad, it's very decent. It's also a champion that, again, it just goes into the theme of like Zinzan Nico buying space for Jinx. TK, on the other hand, is also just going to be standing there trying to eat Jinx. So you have a team that really wants to be diving forward into a team that desperately wants to be dove.
Yeah.
With that, I don't think they have the answers to Gwen on side lane. Later on, especially. I think Gwen, the later this game goes, just becomes a bigger and bigger threat. Yeah, she will rip towers apart in about 5 autos.
Like Tompkins will just not be a factor side lane after minute 20.
Yeah, it's TK is basically just there to consume the Jinx later on and be a stable weak side early game.
Yeah.
I think, once again, would you believe, I feel like NORD have put enemy team on a timer with their top lane pick.
Yeah, very much. I think Gwen ban was very needed here if you wanted to play Ornn or Tompkins, like regardless of the two.
I understand getting rid of the H. Like I say, it's a really, really hard Tahm Kench matchup.
Yeah, of
Probably
course.
his hardest, but just thematically speaking, Gwen is really happy in this game. Just can't group as effectively.
Yeah.
Persistent, I agree. She's not too bad later on against Gwen on side. Like, she can deal with waves relatively quickly. I think the problem with Talia Gwen inside later on, right, is it kind of becomes a hold your nerve thing, where as soon as Talia uses E, Gwen can kill her.
She just runs her down, yeah.
So if Talia ever gets a twitchy trigger finger and uses that E too quickly, then Gwen will run her down 100% of the time.
Yeah, I mean, Gwenny is just too low cooldown for Talia to use her E proactively like that.
Yeah, you don't get to use it proactively at all. You have to wave clear from a distance with Q and just handshake the fact that sometimes she's going to get autos off on the tower, and your job is just to try and prevent it.
I mean, it's just what they did the other games as well, right?
Yeah.
You just want to go for very heavy scaling, just letting Yasna do her thing on sideline.
Just trying to see if there's anything particularly out of the ordinary in runes. It's all pretty standard across the board.
Yeah, we have
there's an opt into first strike on Lucian over PTA.
I mean, I get that. Enemy team is pretty squishy apart from Tompkins. I think they are very much allowed to do that, especially with how hard they can shred Tom Kenji anyway.
Me and you both are the biggest Xbox Live Game Pass merchants. I love it. It's fantastic. If you don't have an Xbox Live Game Pass already, and I'm not sponsored, but it is great. Especially because you can, like... And I'm not advocating for this, but I do understand some League of Legends players have multiple accounts. That may come as a shock. But with Xbox Live Game Pass, if you add it to an account, it is not attached there permanently. You can, with just one click, remove it, log on to another account, and put it on there. It is a pretty great investment.
So let's do a run through of the lineups here. First on blue side we have NORD Polaris, NORD which is Scandinavian org. Their main team competes in the NLC. The lineup here is top lane.
It's actually it's NLC versus NLC. It's kind of banger.
Yes, both of these teams here have their parent dogs competing in the NLC Div 1 with their main teams. Lionscreed even won the NLC and went on to play in EMEA Masters. Well, we have here for NORD Polaris, top lane Viosna from France, jungle Lexa from France, mid Nightingale from the United Kingdom, bot Nadsat or Nadi, unknown, whichever one is the official, from the United Kingdom, and support Feriren from Turkey. And then on red side we have the Lionscreed Lionesses, top lane Gertrude or Gertrude the Pony from the United Kingdom, jungle Hao from Belgium, mid lane Pia from Romania, bot Deja Vu from Romania, and support Charlotte from the United Kingdom.
So yeah, a lot of UK players involved here. It's always fun. I love when the UK gets representation because, to be honest, across League of Legends as a whole, we don't get a lot of it. UK is very much more well known for console gaming and FPS games. We get a lot more involvement in Valorant than we do in League, so it's nice to see a number of UK names, and of course, UK org here in Lionscreed, who've been doing some really brilliant work recently. Of course, made EMEA Masters. Had a fairly short run, but you know what? The boys made us all proud. Love the NLC.
Since we're on the topic of UK, tell me, Evie, if you were to make a UK national team for female LoL players, which players would you pick?
Female League of Legends players. Oh, I have to really think about mid laners now. Oh, wait, no, okay. UK national team, female League of Legends, is me, Trez, Vixen, probably Nadie and Tabby. I honestly, Tabby's been playing in like Finnish Pro League, which is the Finnish. It's like NLC ERL 3. Below NLC 2 breaks down now, but she's been playing in the FPL. She has been utterly fantastic. A nice cleanse from Nadsat gets to keep going forward onto Deja Vu. Probably won't get the flash out there, but definitely a lot of pressure in the lane, and Maokai can start threatening the dive. Xintao, of course, looking for the flank here. Maokai's in a little deep, but Xintao is too. It goes slightly wide, and Maokai playing on the edge. 2 flashes out of both of the junglers, and the end of this. Deja Vu has to pop her Ghost, does still have flash available, but she's in a lot of danger. Hitting in lane on that health bar. Oh! Hey, really nice roam from Talia there. We'll just pick up the kill onto Lexa. Because Xintao forced onto a reset anyway, there's not a lot of camps up, so there's not a huge amount of punishment that's going to come out of that. And you will notice in the top side, Yasna does have a way pushing into her, but she already has a pretty significant CS advantage, so she can start to set up a freeze here, start to already begin pushing that champion into the scaling edge that it has from fairly early on. Tabby my goat? Hard agree. I love me some Tabby. She's had a really fantastic split. I think she's developed a lot as a player this split. And she was already pretty good, so it's nice to see.
We are not seeing her in female tournaments anymore. Just in,
No, not at the moment. Yeah, it's It's something I could see her doing in the future if it's convenient, but I think her focus right now is on mixed scene, and I respect that decision completely. So that's going to come back in from both mid laners, and returning to a neutral lane state, but Yone is on those tier 2 boots already, so whilst Talia does pick up that early kill, I would argue this is a stronger spike for Yone in the early game, once you take champion interactions into consideration, and that CS lead in top is just getting bigger rather quickly. We're already looking at like a 2.5 wave lead.
Yeah.
Like we say, Gwen is the champion you want to accelerate. Yone will go slightly wide, and Lex the Hex Flash will not get into Twisted Advance range, but the flash is going to be blown from Talia, and that puts a lot of threat onto her in the next couple of minutes, especially considering Yone Flash still available. I need a color caster here. If I'm play-by-playing, I need color.
Okay.
Hook me up.
You're putting me in the spot right now.
Give me some game knowledge. Drop some knowledge bombs on me.
Oh my lord.
I can drop
Definitely,
knowledge bombs about the players, the teams, the background narratives, etc. Not so much about
And
the game itself.
you're leaving it to me. Okay, so you can see in top lane, early on, Tom Kench already committing into the Heartsteel build this game, which, I'll be honest, I really do hate into Gwen. I think into a lot of matchups, fantastic. You are playing against percent max health. The entire kit, percent max health. Everywhere, it is her passive. You're not allowed to just build flat health into Gwen, because whilst some of it is converted into true damage anyway, you're really not happy once Gwen hits first item if you only have flat health into her. So yeah, I feel like TK needs to be able to deal on the side lanes with Gwen fairly early on, but already the commitment into this direction of the build it makes the matchup rough.
We'll probably see a 3-3 skirmish here if Lexo stays.
Yeah, I think Lexa ends up taking the recall, Zinzao on bot side as well, so Lexa will have tempo back into the top side of the map, which means you may see a look in towards mid lane. That is a consumption onto the Gwen, who I don't think cares particularly. Will be a tower shot for her troubles, but it's just an ult for ult trade. Both ghosts out of the champions at this point in time. Lexa can get this crash pretty freely, look for a reset. She's on a pretty good time to get back into top lane. So 1k lead for Lionscreed in the early game, but I think just in terms of the compositional mismatch, in terms of how one team really wants to play, that is very aggressive, but the knockback will miss, and now going to get the follow-up from the ultimate from Maokai. Flash in from Zinzao. Talia is going to fall from the end, but Zinzao's follow-up on that trades a flash out. It's going to be a 1-for-1 at the end. Both mid laners falling. Zinzao is going to need to catch this wave. We'll slow down Zinzao's movement back out onto the map a little bit. Lexa just going to try and get this wave in. She will in the end. It's going to crash fully. A little bit of aggression from Natty. 1v2. Will get hit by the Tangle Bars from Nico in the end. The Ignite's going to come out. The Cleanse has already been blown. Jinx trying to run this one down. Has popped the Ghost. Still has the Flash. But for double sums out of Lucian, Natty will get out of there in the end. Nami returns to lane with everything available. Nico's still level 5. If Nico had dinged 6 before that fight, it would have been extremely dangerous for Nord's bot side.
That fight there in the mid lane, you know, Nightingale going in like that was aggressive, but also it seemed that Pia was being perhaps a little bit too confident at that point. Like she just thought that Nightingale was running away from her poke. It didn't seem to consider the possibility that she could just run back in and fight.
So, I'll pitch it to you this way, in that we ourselves play with a mid laner who is extremely confident that every fight she takes can be a winning one when played correctly. The way the way Nightingale played that with Pia, I feel like Pia is playing that fight as though, like a lot of mid laners would competitively, Nightingale would play that to escape. Whereas Nightingale is viewing it as, I can play this to turn. And so as soon as Pia starts to aggress up forward as though Nightingale is going to want to play to get out, she's immediately putting herself into a position where Nightingale can get the turn back onto her. To the end, the trade works out quite well, and we're at a point now where the CS deficit for the Yone in the mid lane has started to shrink a little bit. Top lane, it has stabilized. Yosna does have that early lead, and look for a nice flash onto Nico, but Bubble will just miss. Charlotte going to be forced to flash on Nico. She's going to look for the pop blossom eventually, but already Nightingale finds a backline. P is knocked up. Deja Vu is out of this fight, and Nico will get away as well. Both on blinking health bars, and a huge wave crashing into the bot lane means that NORD are going to get a significant gold increase out of this. The grubs are going out on the top side, and Xin Zhao does have Gwen in the area. A couple levels down on the Gwen, but it would be a 2v1 if she were to opt into the fight, so I imagine that they just let this one go, trade it out for the Drake, and call it a day on this one. NORD does now have a slowly growing gold lead, though, gone from 1k down to 500 gold up. Of course, a lot of that gold going onto the primary carries. One onto the Lucian, and that CS lead in top lane stays pretty significant for this early on into the game.
I feel like, given that Aliga's teleport was still down, I wonder if y'all could just push out the mid lane and then move upwards to where Xin Zhao was, instead of recalling. I wonder if that was a 2 versus 2 they could take.
I think they're looking at it from a tempo perspective. They don't want to do too much on their turn. So if they move into enemy bot lane jungle there, it's their turn to do something on the map. So with Yone having some prio, being allowed to, well, not some prio, but getting a decently fast push out and being able to answer Talia's move into bot side, and Lexa being there first already on the Gromp, means that NORD already have numbers down there. So I think accepting the trade-off afterwards is fine. The trade of Drake for grubs is just a neutral handshake, and whilst, yes, you don't really want Lionscreed to get 6 grubs, it's kind of fine. They're not playing a comp that uses the Void Mites terribly well, so you don't view it as that big of a deal, but the handshake is for grubs and Drake. The positive trade is the kill on the jungle that came first. Now they're going aggressive again. The pop blossom is going to come out from Nika. The teleport's going to come in from the Yone, who looking to follow this up. Look for the dive. Deja Vu forced to flash out. The audacious charge
this
comes
is
in.
not really good for Lionscreed. Now Vios is just going to push out top lane.
Yeah, Wiosna's about to get 4 plates. Both TPs down from the side of Lionscreed, and they are forced into getting onto this dragon. They have to take it, but it's not a trade I think they're particularly happy to get. This is only their first Drake of the game. Gwen's CS lead is going to explode over the next minute because of this committal of the double TP into bot lane. They still lose the Nico anyway. Now Wiosna's going to start farming herself an absolute bag, hitting these plates down. So she is having the time of her life in this matchup. Already 2 gone. She doesn't need the grubs, and this is the thing about grubs. People have this very common misconception that grubs are better on teams that want to split push. Gwen doesn't need them. A little bit of ticking true damage, Gwen doesn't care. Her damage per auto, she's going to do 50 times the grub true damage tick with each auto. She doesn't need them. So they're quite happy to go for the early Drake, and now you already see, just early game, on 1 item, she's left alone with that tower for all of about 45 seconds. She strips 3 plates off it. She's going to opt straight into a blasting wand. I imagine she's going to go straight into Nash's Tooth, delaying those boots, just so she can keep bullying this Tahm Kench out, who has finished the Heartsteel, but... And here's the problem. You finish the Heartsteel, but every time you opt into walking forward to try and pop it onto Gwen, great. You're going to get 25 health, and Gwen's going to chip you for 20, 30, maybe 40% even at this stage of the game. So it's really hard for TK to get these stacks up early.
Hi.
Hello. We have another person joining us here, Dr. Motivation, the mid laner of Planty.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm still not getting used to being doctor. I call doctor everywhere, but I really enjoy it. Thank you.
Nice. Gap close forward from Nightingale onto the Jinx. It's going to get out of there alive. Will dodge the ultimate with the Q3. And just, it's impressive the way that she's willing to apply this pressure even in the 1v2. It is very, very confident play, which is really what I wanted to see from NORD. She flashes forward 1v2. We'll take out one. Will she get both?
Oh!
That's a mental killer. That's a mental killer. Nightingale is online. Since I will flash in at the end, but this Yone is in a fantastic spot for the game.
Lionscreed are just getting outscaled. Like,
Yeah,
so much.
they are getting outscaled very quickly. 2k down now. The Herald is going to drop in the middle lane. Italia will come out and do, unfortunately, very little to stop this slow march forward. As they are going to get a second charge off here as well if they want it. Opt not to. I think they may know that Tom Kench is on the warpath down to them. Does the second charge go off? Oh dear. And it does. And tier 1 top is gone. And this is NORD just playing the map out really well for how their comp wants to function. Obviously, the 1v2 in bot lane is just Nightingale saying, do you know what? Yeah, come on, man. I will skill check you. And executing in the clutch. And pulling that one off, forcing Zinzao down into bot side, means NORD can really open up the map in impressive and swift fashion.
I'm wondering what Lionscreed could do now to maximize their chances of winning this game, because I'm not sure, like, they could look for some picks potentially, like they have the tools for it, but that's only if NORD actually screw up in such a way. But as for fights, I'm not sure they can win them with how things have developed.
So if I'm playing Lionscreed's draft in this position, I'm probably unironically calling for the Fnatic Death Rush. You have really great... Natty is in. We'll have to burn the flash, but Lex is going forward. The rocket will land in the end. Super Mega Death Rocket does not do enough damage. Lex is going to fall for this one on the flash forward with a pop blossom from Nico. Going to finish that one off. Fairy Wren's going to get knocked up as well.
That's a lot
Talia
of gold
from behind. And there you go. That is a lot of gold coming back. Just a little bit of over-aggression there from Natty, I feel. In a really good spot in the game.
Nothing on Jinx.
Yeah, Jinx doesn't get a kill. Is the main positive that NORD can take away from this. Jinx didn't get a kill. Talia might have. It's okay. Jinx doesn't get the kill because this comp is drafted almost entirely around keeping that Jinx alive for as long as possible during a fight, just buying her all the space in the world. And the gold lead, very much still in NORD's favour. It's still 2k. It had grown a little bit after they'd taken that mid tower down, but they really want this Carps onto Yosna, but I don't know that they're going to find it. She doesn't actually have her W available, so they will in the end. It's another kill onto Talia, unfortunately. The TV's going to come in from behind. Nightingale looking for this one. The threaded volley coming out, but it's going to go a little bit wide, and it's a 5v4 in the bottom lane. Tom Ken's going to find the knock onto the Maokai. Immediately getting cut down out of this fight. Obviously burnt the flash earlier. Will pop the aftershock, but will not be able to survive. And Knocker comes on into Fairy Wren as well. Force the flash out at the end of this one, and Timecam walking forward. TK wants more. They can take this tower down, look straight into the double knock-up from Gertrude the Pony, and it's a ping.
Okay, that's a weird spot for a pause. But...
Yeah, it is. I feel like you let this one play out before the pause.
Aww.
I don't know if there are any rules against them doing that one.
Yeah.
But that is a pause. I mean, we get to look at Natty in the air for a little bit.
Well, that means she looks good.
Yeah, she's looking pretty good up there. You will see. So Lionscreed do have the kill advantage now. Still the gold lead, very minimally in NORD's favour. And okay, we were ready. We're on pause. And sadly, Natty unable to escape this situation in what comes as a shock to everyone, I'm sure. Given the chain CC for about half an hour, and it's just going to be Nightingale walking away from this one alive, so close to a clean ace from Lionscreed, who closed down that play very quickly, and we are a little bit
just experiencing some post-pause lag. Please stand by. For those of you who have just tuned into this stream, we promise that normally they match moves. It's not stationary. Clara, do you play Taliyah?
I started her 5 days ago. And she's fun. She plays similar to Zyra actually, but I don't have much experience on her.
Out of curiosity, if you're the Jinx in this game, how many times in a fight have you asked to be given a kill by now?
So like 10, because well, in our game, for example, I screened for the very first kill that was in my vision at all. I didn't get that one, but yeah, I think I think Dejavu's feeling the same right now, pretty much.
When I play with Sena, it's always a good idea to give her the gold because she will make the best out of it.
Yes,
okay.
we are. I'm
Sena
looking at
is
an interesting game state, by the way. We've returned to completely gold neutral. So, I'm curious. You will notice as the game has gone on, the CS lead in top lane has started to open up a bit more. Dejavu's going to getting closed down on by that culling. Will not quite be able to finish it off. But, yeah, very close. And you can see how threatening this Lucian is. If ever Lucian finds this Jinx in isolation, say she's caught in transition, Lucian will deliver divine punishment extremely quickly, and TK is going to go off to match the Yone in the side lane now. Trying to walk that one down is going to look to go aggressive. He just want to get the eat off. In the meantime, Nord looking for a mid lane tier 2, but Yone is going to get run down. As for knockup, does have a flash available, and in the end the tongue lash will not land. But you can see how threatening this TK is in the side lane against Yone. So the Yone build this game is very much designed for killing the squishies. Looking for your Jinxes, your Talias, and your Gwens. So Blade of King, a little bit more fair as Lexa is going to get knocked up. And knocked down eventually. A lot of healing coming in from Jinx. Finally.
Doesn't get this one
Finally.
It's unreal. Okay, well, you know what? It's fine.
Yeah.
Support Jinx goes pretty crazy at the moment. But
Maybe next time.
You know, the thing is, I don't mind this. When Talia starts to get into this position, it gets really hard for Yone and Lucian to move forward. So, although the comp is built around protecting Jinx primarily, Talia with kills is not too mad about it. She will get a lot of damage out in these team fights. You maybe look to start having a... Oh, hold on. 4 melee minions in this wave. What a treat. What a happy little...
Is this my lucky day?
Is this my lucky day? 4 melees is for me? Oh, hold on. That wasn't a minion at all.
Oh.
That's crazy.
Yes, it was Charlotte taking away the cannon minion.
Yeah, it's well, to be fair, 2 cannons start strutting down mid-wave. Oftentimes I do find myself thinking it's my lucky day before I start thinking, hold on, enemy team has a Nico.
Who doesn't hate the Nico minion?
It's my favorite thing. Love being suddenly blown up in the air. I'm very glad that the nerf came through, so you at least see her for like half a second before she knocks you up and stuns you now.
Yeah.
On release, that shit was disgusting.
Yeah. I remember like every game there's a Nico in the enemy team, I'm just like sitting there like, I need to focus. She will be a minion. And 3 seconds later I forget about it, and then she's in my face. And I'm dead.
Start looking at some of these item completions as well now. So you see the Infinity Edge has been finished onto Yone. Jinx is still, sadly, a long way off, i.e. for kill-related reasons. But Talia getting rapidly towards what I assume is going to be a Crypt Bloom. 2 items finished on TK, of course, as well, and this is where Gwen starts to really come online in this game. That's a Knight's Vow finished on Tahm Kench. Very budget item, so yeah, okay, she's 2 items at the same time as Gwen is 2 items. But Knight's Vow extremely cheap, so no real comparison available there. Ghost is going to come out from Gwen? A little overcautious, but I respect it. Just wants to bail on that one before enemy team has any chance of closing down on her, and the Knight's Vow forces Tahm Kench to commit into these grouped fights. So you start to really open up to the possibility of NORD playing this 1-3-1 through Yone and Gwen insides, where Infinity Edge finished now. Okay, it's going to be a little bit longer before Yone can comfortably kill TK in a side, but I think that the last fight between those two was more of an outlier than how the matchup is expected to go. And Gwen at this point already. Nash's Tooth, Riftmaker finished. She is loving life. Knock up onto the Tahm Kench, Blast Cone will be taken. It's just a little bit of chip damage in the run-up to this dragon. But really worth noting, Tahm Kench Ghost gone. And that is a lot of in-fight mobility out of the window for the Toad in this next one. How are we feeling, gang? Do I get back into casting? Or... I mean, I have to play for a bit now, don't I? Really? But
yes, now
I'm thinking, like, after that.
You have an Equal Esports Cup to play now, so...
Yeah, I've got an EC to play. Holy.
Ooh! Wait,
okay, Sinzao is...
Oh!
Yeah, just hell. Tom Kench, that's a very brave Abyssal Voyage coming in, and the Pop Blossom is going to land on 3. Knock up onto Gwyn in the front line, will be taken down immediately, and the Maokai is soon to follow, just not very tanky against this magic damage with the Knight's Vow Warden's Mail.
Yeah, but this thing
There is a
here,
hard component. And,
this is what Lionscreed have been doing since yesterday. They have a fight, they seem like they are losing, but somehow they turn it around. They do this repeatedly.
Nightingale is looking for a window, does still have the Fate sealed, and can look for an angle here. Squishies are starting to clump a little bit into the backline. Nightingale wants this one, will find Charlotte, knocks up Natalia as well. Potentially could have gone for 2, but will bail on that one while it's still 100% safe and secure. And Lionscreed going to be forced into a reset. Map goes back to neutral, and we're going to start looking into Drake now. Mamas are... true. Yeah, TK can definitely ult out of that one. Ceres is up, I don't know. Yone damage scares me, you know?
Yeah,
I get a little nervous. It's a fantastic play. You know, it's finding a pick out of what seems like a completely doomed situation, putting Nico on a horrible timer for this next Drake. It is absolutely the best thing Nightingale could have done here. The way it worked out is fantastic for them. We'll be going forward again, going to find the knock-up onto Xin Zhao, who does have the ultimate available again, but all ults up on the side of Lionscreed as we also going to go forward. The Eat comes out onto Talia, but a big set of needles coming through from Gwen afterwards. Yone finds a knock-up onto 3. So many blinking health bars on the side of Lionscreed. And Yone going to be going forward, does want to chase some of these down, will not quite find it, but full team reset going to be forced out here, and you have to expect that NORD is going to take this Drake, transition their vision into the top side enemy jungle, start to threaten this Nash. Yone, of course, can go into bot side now. Mid lane tier 2 falls. They can return into this split-pushing playstyle, which the comp is really built around, and the gold lead just starting to open up again as NORD get back into the lead by a couple thousand gold.
Lionscreed are fortunate to not have the members die there, because they put themselves in a position to get engaged all for no reason. There was no way they were ever going to win that fight. This was just gone away. Charlotte was still on her way. They couldn't win 4 vs 5.
Yeah, it's easy to write off a fight against a competition with a Nico as we can't fight into chokes at all. Well, when the Nico's not there, you can. And especially with the tools that you have available to you, the Tidal Wave from Nami, and then all of the follow-up from like your Yone, your Gwen, it's a lot of AoE damage at once. And when you're having to fight from the choke against all this AoE, it gets very hard, very fast. Tahm Kench can only eat one person, and they are frankly, yeah, very lucky to be getting out of that one all unscathed, a little rattled maybe, but they will survive to fight another day. And you'll have to also expect, of course, if more members die there, you can start to say, okay, well, Yone can solo Drake, the rest of us are going to run to Nash. And both objectives can fall, so it's unfortunate for NORD to not get more. Come on, Lexa, take it, get it down, get that blue buff. It's gonna be it. There we go. So blue buff on the full team for both sides now, and NORD are starting to posture around this Nash. They want to move their vision into the enemy topside jungle, which they do now have a nice, fairly deep line of vision from Krugs across into Raptors. Xin going to look to walk forward to take these out, and from NORD's position, you know, you have the prio into mid lane already. You can step forward to start defending this line of vision. Another sweeper will be popped by Xin Zhao, and I expect this trade to be getting made relatively frequently for the next couple of minutes. NORD want to maintain their vision, maybe catch Lionscreed unaware, but Gwen are going to be opening back onto the map straight into bot lane again, and Nightingale's going to go forward. We'll locate the Xin Zhao, but still more comes of it. Oh no! Okay, well she will find Deja Vu. Will not land the ult, but the Jinx is so low that she's going to really struggle to continue this fight. Ghost has been popped as well. She has no flash available, and both of the carries on the side of Lionscreed forced into the base. Gwen still aggressing down bot lane. It's highly likely they look to start this Nash, draw them in. TP available on Talia. She does have the Weaver's Wall, but she's going to walk bot lane. I think she wants to answer this Gwen instead. NORD have them in a really tricky position. You can either fully commit to answering the Baron.
Nico still has Flash R here.
This is deadly. Teleport's going to come in from both of the side laners. Weosna's going to arrive in the back of the fight, going to land some big snip needles onto the entire team. No more charges of the ultimate, but frankly, Baron for 1 is a trade that for NORD you'd be happy to make. Ooh. Natty trying to get out of this one of the Weaver's Wall is going to come in to cut off the exit. Natty over the wall will get tagged by the zap. The flash from Nico wasn't short! Pop Blossom is not going to land, and Gertrude trying to run this one down. Could definitely find the angle. Maokai will pop the aftershock, but it's just not quite tanky enough to survive it.
Oh.
That ultimate will come out in the end, but it's a little bit too little too late, and you'll find that it's just Nami and Yone on the defensive side for the next 20 seconds or so, as Lionscreed likely look to break open an inhib as penance for this Nash going down.
The thing is that now NORD have a Hyun with teleport and Baron buff, so they could do some real damage on the side lane.
You'll see, like, if Lionscreed overplay here, which in the end they don't, they choose to take the tower and leave, but Yone does have a lot of options. There's big waves pushing towards Lionscreed, both in mid and bot, so they can definitely open back up into a 4-1. 1-3-1's an option, I just don't think it's necessary. They can open with either Yone or Gwen on the side lane. I expect them to be playing Yone on side lane now, just with the teleport up, for Gwen to be a little bit closer to the team. And this will be the third break for either team, so we're not staring down a soul yet, but as the gold moves back to completely neutral, you can start to see just how wide the CS gap in top lane has opened up. As Gwen about to ding over to the Flame Horizon, which is a position that champion really wants to be in this matchup. Those deaths do not matter. 0-3-1, don't care. You're now a 3-item Gwen. Irrespective of the KDA, as Natsat walks forward, is going to land a big culling, chunks out Charlotte. But most importantly, Pia down to half health before the fight even begins, and yeah, they just have to walk it straight down mid. Gonna look to trade the mid tier 2 for this Drake, but can see NORD potentially looking for a flanking angle onto this one. Though they do have more or less everything available. The Maokai ultimate's going to come through and find Xin. They want to play front to back. Weosna is going to be relatively untouched at the start of this one. Nightingale in from a back line. The Fate Seal is going to land, but it's just going to be landing onto the Xin, who will fall in the end. Natty still walking forward. Flash out from Deja Vu and from Pia as Vitaly and the Jinx are trying to find a way to retreat.
It was a good engage angle for NORD.
Bomb it down mid.
That was a nice flank from Yone.
Fantastic flank.
It seems like Lionscreed only considered the possibility that NORD might come through the jungle. They didn't think that Yone would go the other way and then cut them on the other side, the unprotected side. So, yeah, now they did.
And really, really impressive TP usage from Nightingale. And the Weaver's Wall is going to come in, but unfortunately this team has an awful lot of dashes available to them. And Lex is quite happy to tank this one out. We will get down the inhibitor. Nico's going to come up again, does have a Pop Blossom available, so they're going to bail on this one for now. But with that mid inhib down, they can start to use this as a point of pressure to really open up the map, play that 1-4. I imagine that NORD are extremely happy with how that fight went.
In that previous teamfight, Charlotte was not able to get her ult out, like she died too quickly. If she had, it might have been different.
Yeah, it's Nico in these fights now, so you'll notice that she's looking at a fairly damage-centric build. We've got the item that I know the name of that makes your spells crit. Someone help me out here.
Shadow Flame.
There we go. So she's gone into the Shadow Flame instead of opting into Zhonya's. It's definitely more aggressive, but it does mean that she's almost got to ult a little bit preemptively in some of these fights just to guarantee that she gets it out, whereas Zhonya's allows you to take slightly more aggressive positions. Her flash is up again though, and I can definitely see a world where she starts playing in pockets of vision, looking for some Pop Blossom flashes over the wall into NORD as they enter into that top side. Tankenge is going to be caught in transition, will pop the ghost, the knockup comes out early, and it's just a lot of CC all at once. Ramble smash.
I feel like that's overkill. I feel like they blew too many.
Yeah, Tidal Wave a touch too much. Definitely wasn't needed to commit for the kill. But they will force down this tower eventually. It's Nightingale not going to find the Fate Seal, but will be finding some damage onto the Nico into the backline, going to be exiting this one out. Lex's left tanking the tower, and the tower is not going to fall. Zinzai's going to look to walk this one down. Yasna enters into the side now. It's a nice flanking angle, but the pop blossom will land. She does not have any defensive tools available to her. She is going to fall, and Talia gets off maybe a little too early. She can't chase this one down, but it's a trade up in the end for Lionscreed out of what seemed like a dicey situation.
I mean, the Lionscreed, they did well there. They noted the fact that... ooh, wait, let's see here this. Can Hao live? No, she can't. Well.
No, Flash is committed by the illusion, and with Nash is up before Zinzao respawns. That is a huge kill to be picking up.
Yeah. Lionscreed did well there to engage despite the numerical disadvantage because they realized that NORD blew their ultimates, but now this overextension is just... like, you should not be moving there alone in that case.
Map returns to a pretty neutral state, but huge culling. Natty is so unafraid. It's fantastic to see the amount of confidence being played with. Lucian always happy to dash forward and deliver a significant amount of damage to the face of anyone standing in the way. Even the Tahm Kench getting shredded through so quickly. Gwen will open back onto the map straight into mid lane. Nightingale wants something over this wall. Will just find the knock up onto Tahm Kench. Exits out of that one. Will be getting knocked back and is going to fall in the end. Nash down to half. We also get Ezra into the backline again. It's a beautiful flanking angle from the Gwen. She will take down Maniko immediately straight onto the face of the Jinx. Can she find it? No. But the follow-up is going to be there for the rest of NORD. Natty going to tidy this one up with the help of Lexa and Fairy. Ren will walk this one down. And you have to think that the game is going to end here. It's just Zinzao defending. Run it down mid. Here we go. And this has been a scrappy game, but it's been a fantastic display from a mechanical point of view from both teams. And sort of a stylistic point of view, seeing how the two teams interact with each other, and you have to think, well, maybe the Varus wasn't the problem. Maybe Nadsat's just pretty good. As the Lucian comes out, Zinzao shockingly tanky. It's just 10 seconds on Maniko, but need to finish this one very quickly. I don't think they can end, but they are likely going to be opening up into, I would expect, the Soul. There are pings on both objectives.
This should be Cloud Soul.
It's going to be Soul decided on in the end. Nightingale does have a TP up just in case Lionscreed tries something exciting. Where's the Zonya on Nico? Yeah. I can't tell you, Dragon. Alright. Somewhere. Still in the shop, unfortunately. I would really, really like to see a Zonya soon on this Nico. It enables you to take so much more aggressive positioning in these fights without risk of going down, because right now, Nightingale is doing a lot of damage. She will pretty much 100-0 that Nico. Within the CC chain, if she finds just one of those knockups, so we head back into a position where both of these teams are going to be contesting that Baron Nashor, but you have to assume that whoever gets it doesn't necessarily matter. It's the winner of the fights surrounding it that is liable to be closing this game out in the next couple of minutes. A lot of vision control from NORD, you'll notice, into Lionscreed's topside jungle, whereas there is very, very shallow line of vision from Lionscreed coming out. It's just a pink in the pit, really. And that is swiftly cleared out. Now Lionscreed forced to face check into anything they want to find. The back is going to go through from Nightingale. She's looking for a TP. Behind the back of a red buff, she wants to find something potentially, but is just going to end up exiting out into the Baron pit. And they're just looking for chip damage now. Looking to try and chunk Lionscreed out enough that they can execute on this Baron. Going to go forward from Lexo. The ultimate combination will be found, and the Tahm Kench goes down before anything else. Nico is too squishy to survive. Natty going to keep going forward. Will find the damage onto Zinzao. Beautiful dash back. And Zinzao W comes out. It will eventually knock down Lexa, but Gwen is in a position to continue this fight. Nightingale forced to go back forward. And those carries on the side of Lionscreed might be low, but they are still very much alive. There's a 2-for-2 in the end, but you have to think that maybe they could have pushed for a little more. Gwen was full health still at the end of that fight. Had the option of entering the fight from over a wall, but will fizzle in the end. The jungler for NORD, dead in the lead up to this Baron. I don't think they can do it, though, in the time that Lex is dead. All need to look for resets, and straight back into a fairly neutral map position. We also are now going to be the one to open into bot side with that teleport available.
once again it looks like Lionscreed are about to lose a team fight, and then somehow they turn it around and they don't lose.
It's you know, it's kind of crazy how it has happened, probably even in the span of this game alone. Because I'll be honest, I've not fought a great deal of Lionscreed games across this tournament because we've just had to keep prepping for what's in front of us. But even in just this one game alone, probably the same fight has executed the same way 4 or 5 times. It's something. Why is every NORD game 40 minutes? Okay, well, we can have that conversation right after this Baron, which is going down extremely quickly, and Xin Zhao is nowhere near. This should be a relatively free one. Tidal Wave will come out. Lexa will secure that one. Beautiful flash forward. Straight into the one-shot onto Nico. He still doesn't have as long use. Oh, yeah. As Deja Vu is going to fall on the back line to the culling. Nami will end up picking that kill up in the air, but Natty is going aggressive. Ryosna cuts down through Gertrude, the pony.
Yeah,
this will be more finishing the game. Xin Zhao left standing alone in the face of the entire enemy team. Not quite the clean ace, but more than enough to end as 4-4. Xin Zhao and Yone are left to run around after each other in bot lanes. We go to 1-0 up for NORD in the series. I'm very, very interested to see how this one progresses.
Remember, game 1 of a best of 3. That was just game 1. Wow.
Just game 1. Just game 1. 40 minutes of near constant fist fighting. But honestly, that's a joy of League of Legends. That's what I'm about.